Speaking of cover-ups, this guy.
According to this just-released report in The New Yorker, media company AMI, which owns the National Enquirer, paid a doorman, Dino Satradine, who worked at Trump Tower, $30,000 to sign a non-disclosure agreement after he offered the company a salacious story about the then-candidate Trump during the 2016 election.
The story being that he knew that Donald Trump had fathered a child with a former employee.
Oh, snap! Jerry! Trump might have a secret kid? I bet everyone who doesn't know their father right now is panicking. Yeah, they're phoning their moms like, tell me it wasn't him, Mom. Tell me it wasn't him. Tell me it was a crackhead. Tell me I have crackhead blood, Mama. Every week, we seem to find out that someone else got money to keep quiet about one of Trump's affairs. Like, at this point, it's almost like his dong has its own economy, you know? Yeah, like a GDP, a gross domestic penis. That's what it feels like right now. I mean, think about it. Everyone's getting paid. Doormen, porn stars, lawyers. At this point, I'm worried that if Trump stops cheating on Melania, the stock market will crash. It's just going to be another recession. And now everyone in this story is talking about whether these payoffs constitute illegal campaign contributions, right? That's why it's big news. But for me, there's a bigger story here. You realize if you were born in the 1980s, you might be Donald Trump's child. Yeah. You could be in line to inherit billions of dollars in debt. Yeah, in fact, I was a child born in the 1980s. Oh my gosh. It's me. Papa Donald? I always felt like there was something connecting the two of us. So similar, folks. Everyone said it. I can see it now. I'll show you my birth certificate. But let's move on. Let's move on from the big news of the week to how we all get the big news of the week, Facebook. In the wake of the Cambridge Analytica scandal, Congress had questions about how Facebook gathers and shares user data and whether government regulation might be needed to keep them in check. So they called in Facebook CEO and less charismatic Rain Man Mark Zuckerberg for 2 days of hearings involving 44 senators, 55 representatives, and a dazzling array of facial expressions. Look at all those different facial expressions. Look at that. So human. And these long hearings can be grueling, which is maybe why Zuckerberg brought an extra cushion with him to sit through. Look at that. That's so cute. Oh, man. You got to protect your Silicon Valley, you know what I mean? And now, some of the Congress people seem to have done their homework. But even when they did, they still didn't seem to know how to ask the right questions.
What was Face Smash, and is it still up and running? You put up pictures of two women and decide which one was the better, more attractive of the two, is that right?
I'm communicating with my friends on Facebook and indicate that I love a certain kind of chocolate.
Let's say I'm emailing about Black Panther within WhatsApp. Do I get a Black Panther banner ad?
Okay, first of all, you don't email in WhatsApp. That's like saying, I'll DM you from my fax machine. Second of all, who's emailing about Black Panther? Like, what are you writing about? To whom it may concern. Is this your king? Is this your king? Kind regards, Killmonger. Now, to be fair, some lawmakers didn't know what questions to ask. And that's when Zuckerberg suddenly became the person who didn't know how Facebook works.
There have been reports that Facebook can track a user's internet browsing activity even after that user has logged off of the Facebook platform. Can you confirm whether or not this is true?
Senator, I want to make sure I get this accurate, so it would probably be better to have my team follow up afterwards.
So you don't know?
If they choose to delete their account, how long do you keep their data?
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. I do not have that information with me. Senator, I don't know. Congresswoman, I don't remember if we had a financial penalty.
You're the CEO of the company?
I'm not sure the answer to that question.
Is it just me, or does Mark Zuckerberg sound like he was coached by Siri? So like, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that. But here are 5 Chinese restaurants nearby. That's not what I was searching for. Like, I'm not saying he should have the answer to every question. But I think it's a little strange that the guy who bragged for years about being a genius suddenly doesn't know where the like button is. You know, it's like Zuckerberg's trying to pull a reverse Kaiser Soze. He started out smart, and then now he's in trouble, and he's trying to limp at the end. It's like, dude, we saw you. We know you're smart. And while there are many things Mark Zuckerberg didn't know, there was one thing he was sure about. He was very, very sorry.
We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake. It was my mistake, and I'm sorry. It sounds like we made a mistake there. I apologize for that. In retrospect, it was a mistake. We have made a lot of mistakes in running the company. It was my mistake, and I'm sorry.
I'm a human, and I'm sorry. You know, I just realized something. This is the first time in a year we've seen a man apologizing for something, and it wasn't sexual harassment. Yeah, progress. This is progress, people. Look at you, Zuck. And now, if you started this week thinking that Washington was going to punish Facebook for how they treated our data, then I'm sorry. Because by the looks of it, even Congress doesn't believe that they can take on Facebook.
Now, here's what's going to happen. There are going to be a whole bunch of bills introduced to regulate Facebook. It's up to you whether they pass or not. You can go back home, spend $10 million on lobbyists and fight us, or you can go back home and help us solve this problem.
What? So all it takes to beat Congress is $10 million? That's nothing. Mark Zuckerberg spends that on his laughing lessons. It's like, moo? No, it's ha-ha. Try again, Mark. Woof? No, it's ha-ha. What Senator Kennedy said there is both depressing and refreshingly honest at the same time. Like, he knows that lobbyists rule Washington, and Facebook can afford a shit ton of lobbyists. So all lawmakers can really do is just chastise Facebook publicly and then ask them nicely to go and think about what they've done. That's all they can do. Basically, Congress has to deal with big corporations the way rich white people punish their kids. There's got to be like, young man, there's going to be consequences for this. Now, you go to one of your bedrooms and figure out what the consequences should be. And give me your iPhone. Here's the newer one. Go away. So after 10 hours of questioning, all Congress got was non-answers and robo-sorries. And while those apologies might have seemed worthless, the stock market disagreed. Because once it became clear that Congress wasn't planning to do anything to regulate Facebook, the company's stock went up so much that Zuckerberg's net worth rose by $3 billion in just the first day of testimony. Yeah, $3 billion. That works out to about $10 million a minute just for testifying in Congress. So I guess what I'm saying is, Congress, if you need me to testify for some shit, I don't know what I did, but I'm sorry.